You're not here by accident. This is the quantum shift, a forgotten initiation into the power that instantly changes reality itself. What you're about to learn goes beyond manifestation. This changes everything. Quantum shift. Introduction. As your hands touch these sacred words, understand this. You were not drawn here by chance. You have been called, summoned across time and space, to receive a wisdom long veiled from the eyes of the world. Hidden within these pages lies an ancient quantum practice, once known to the mystics and seers, now ready to awaken within you. It does not unfold slowly. It moves like lightning, reshaping your reality with a speed so profound it may seem like a dream. This is no ordinary teaching. It is a doorway, a direct initiation into the quantum essence of existence, where thought becomes form, where time coils and stretches at your command, and where the laws you once believed unbreakable melt into mist. Within the silence of your consciousness lies the key, a dormant force vast enough to bend the fabric of the universe itself. The ancients knew, though their language was lost to time, reality is not built from matter, but from mind. And in the quantum field of boundless potential, your every thought is not idle, but a pulse of creation, sending ripples across dimensions yet unseen. Now you stand before the threshold. The veil grows thin. As you enter this realm, you leave behind the illusion of limits and step into the infinite, a place where the quantum shift begins, not with action, but with sacred alignment. What follows is not struggle, but remembrance, not learning, but awakening. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Part 1. Awakening the Quantum Eye. Chapter 1. The Veil Between Worlds. In the autumn of 1924, Eleanor discovered an ornate silver mirror hidden beneath dusty quilts in her grandmother's attic. The mirror's surface bore strange inscriptions along its tarnished frame, and when Eleanor traced the ancient symbols with her fingertips, she felt an unusual vibration course through her body. That evening, as moonlight streamed through the attic window, she heard a whispered phrase emerge from deep within her consciousness. Through shadows of illusion, truth reveals. Upon speaking these words to her reflection, the mirror's surface began to ripple like water, and Eleanor glimpsed realities beyond imagination, worlds where her choices had led down different paths, where possibility danced with probability in an endless quantum waltz. The physical world you perceive is but the thinnest layer of an infinitely deeper reality. Like a reflection on the surface of a vast ocean, what your senses detect is merely the outermost manifestation of countless quantum possibilities swimming in the depths below. Your consciousness, shaped by years of conventional thinking, has been trained to perceive only the most solid and predictable aspects of existence, filtering out the extraordinary dimensions that lie just beyond ordinary awareness. Yet this veil between worlds is not fixed or impenetrable. It grows thin in certain states of consciousness, particularly when you quiet the mind's habitual patterns of perception. In moments of deep meditation, creative flow, or spontaneous awakening, the rigid boundaries between possible and impossible become fluid, allowing glimpses of the quantum realm where all potential exists simultaneously. In the mountains of Tibet, a blind musician named Thomas discovered this truth through an unexpected path. Having lost his sight in childhood, Thomas developed an extraordinary ability to perceive reality through sound vibrations. As he played his flute in ancient monasteries, he began to detect layers of reality that others could not see. quantum harmonies that revealed the musical nature of existence itself. While others saw only solid walls and fixed objects, Thomas perceived the dancing waves of possibility that composed all matter. His limitation had become a gateway to perception beyond ordinary boundaries. The quantum veil thinning practice. Find a quiet space in total darkness. Sit comfortably with your spine straight and eyes gently closed. Visualize a gossamer veil hanging before you. This represents the barrier between ordinary and quantum perception. With each exhale, imagine this veil growing increasingly transparent. Feel it becoming thinner, more permeable with every breath. As the veil dissolves, sense the luminous quantum reality that has always existed beyond it, a realm of pure potential where all possibilities coexist. Maintain this practice for at least 7 minutes, allowing your consciousness to expand beyond its usual limitations. Chapter 2. The Observer Effect. In the dimly lit workshop of his London establishment, Benjamin Whitmore hunched over his workbench, surrounded by the gentle ticking of countless timepieces. For 40 years, he had crafted and repaired the finest watches in the city. Yet lately he had noticed something peculiar, something that challenged everything he understood about the mechanical world. When he focused his complete attention on certain timepieces, their mechanisms seemed to respond. Pocket watches that had run slow for years suddenly kept perfect time under his concentrated gaze. Broken chronometers sprung to life when he observed them with unwavering attention. At first, he dismissed these occurrences as coincidence, but the pattern became undeniable. This phenomenon you witness in your own life, though you may not have recognized it until now. The quantum nature of reality reveals that particles, the very building blocks of existence, behave differently when observed. This is not mere theory, but demonstrated scientific fact. Your consciousness, like Benjamin's focused attention, directly influences the world around you. Every moment, every circumstance in your life responds to the quality of your observation. When you observe lack, you collapse quantum possibilities into the experience of scarcity. When you observe abundance, you allow those infinite possibilities to manifest as prosperity. Reality is not fixed, but fluid, responding moment by moment to the focus of your awareness. In the summer of 1952, Margaret Williams conducted an experiment in her greenhouse that demonstrated this principle with stunning clarity. She planted 2 rows of identical roses, caring for them with equal diligence in terms of water, soil, and sunlight. But to one row she directed thoughts of love, growth, and vitality each morning. To the other, she projected worry, fear, and doubt. Within weeks, the differences became striking. The roses receiving positive observation bloomed with unprecedented vigor, while their counterparts struggled to thrive. The implications of Margaret's experiment extend far beyond her greenhouse. Every aspect of your life, your relationships, your wealth, your health, responds to the quality of attention you direct toward it. Like the particles in quantum experiments that shift their behavior when observed, your reality transforms based on how you choose to perceive it. The Quantum Observer Practice. Select one specific aspect of your life you wish to transform. Each morning, find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. For 7 minutes, breathe in a rhythm of 4 counts in, hold for 4, release for 4. As you maintain this rhythm, observe your chosen aspect not as it appears in the physical world, but as you desire it to be. Hold this vision with unwavering focus, knowing that your observation is actively collapsing quantum possibilities into your desired reality. Chapter 3. The Ancient Quantum Seers. Deep in the sun-baked valleys of Egypt's western desert, Frederick Blackwood brushed sand from a sealed clay vessel. Inside, he discovered scrolls that would shake the foundations of modern science. The papyrus contained intricate diagrams depicting patterns of energy and matter that perfectly matched current models of quantum fields and atomic structure. Yet these scrolls were over 4,000 years old. The ancient ones understood what quantum physics now proves. Consciousness shapes reality at its most fundamental level. The hieroglyphs spoke of thought forms that could alter the fabric of existence. The Sanskrit text described Maya, the illusory nature of physical reality. The Tibetan masters taught of empty essence, the quantum void from which all possibilities emerge. These weren't mere philosophical concepts, but precise technical manuals for working with consciousness to influence matter. The ancient Egyptian words of power were actually specific frequencies designed to alter quantum fields. The Buddhist mudras were geometric keys that unlocked different configurations of reality. Every spiritual tradition carried fragments of this quantum science, encoding it in symbol and metaphor to preserve it for those ready to understand. In 1922, Josephine Clark worked late into the night translating an obscure set of Hermetic texts. As she spoke the ancient words aloud, strange phenomena began occurring in her study. Objects would shift position when she wasn't looking, time seemed to flow at different rates, and coincidences multiplied beyond probability. She discovered that certain combinations of sounds, when intoned with focused intention, produced measurable changes in her environment. The mantras weren't just poetry, they were precise quantum commands that had been preserved in linguistic amber for millennia. The Quantum Seer's Meditation. Find a quiet space and sit comfortably with spine straight. Close your eyes and visualize yourself in a vast circular temple of pure light. Around you sit the great masters and mystics of history, the Egyptian hierophants, the Tibetan lamas, the Hermetic sages. Feel their presence encompassing you in a sphere of timeless wisdom. As you breathe deeply, begin intoning these sacred syllables. Hum Ram Yam. Let each sound resonate through your entire being. Visualize golden light activating the dormant areas of your brain associated with quantum perception. Feel yourself receiving direct transmission of the ancient understanding of reality's true nature. Maintain this practice for 11 minutes, allowing the quantum wisdom of the ages to unfold within your consciousness. Chapter 4. The Secret Language of Energy. In the dimly lit telegraph office of the Grand Central Terminal, Walter Thompson noticed something peculiar about his transmissions. When sending messages filled with hope and optimism, recipients reported unexpected strokes of good fortune shortly after. Messages bearing solemn or urgent tones seemed to manifest their essence at their destination, beyond the mere words conveyed. The universe speaks in vibrations. Every thought, every emotion resonates at a specific frequency that ripples through the quantum field. Your consciousness is not separate from this field. It is an integral part of it, constantly broadcasting instructions through the language of energy. When you experience joy, your entire being vibrates at 540 hertz, sending waves of creative potential through the fabric of reality. Love resonates at 528 hertz, the same frequency that repairs DNA. Fear drops to 100 hertz, constricting possibility. These are not mere metaphors. Your emotional state creates specific geometric patterns in the quantum field, like sound waves forming patterns in sand. Each feeling is a distinct instruction to the universe, a command in the native language of creation itself. When you understand this, you realize that managing your emotional frequency is the key to conscious manifestation. In Vienna, 1908, Beatrice Whitman sat at her piano, fingers hovering over the keys. Without formal training in healing or medicine, she began composing melodies that seemed to flow through her from an unseen source. Those who listened found their ailments mysteriously improving. Migraines dissolved under gentle arpeggios, inflammation reduced with certain chord progressions. Without realizing it, Beatrice had tapped into the quantum healing codes embedded in musical frequencies, translating the universe's own repair signals into audible form. To master the quantum language, you must move beyond accidental discovery to conscious communication. This is achieved through the quantum language attunement practice. Sit in silence and begin breathing in a 4-count rhythm. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. As your breath stabilizes, focus on the emotional quality of what you wish to manifest. Feel it as though it already exists. Now silently repeat your seed phrase, a simple statement that captures the essence of your desire. This phrase should be spoken with a feeling of absolute certainty, as though declaring a fundamental law of nature. Continue this practice for 7 minutes, allowing your consciousness to broadcast this precise vibrational instruction to the quantum field. Through this practice, you learn to speak directly to the universe in its native tongue, the language of pure creative energy. Your thoughts and emotions become conscious transmissions, precisely tuned to manifest your deepest desires. Chapter 5. Breaking the Trance of Limitation. In a small town nestled among rolling hills, Harold Mitchell lived within carefully drawn boundaries. Each morning, he traced the same path between his home and the general store where he worked, never venturing beyond the town limits. The mere thought of crossing that invisible line sent tremors through his body. Until one autumn evening, when a traveler appeared at his door. The stranger, wrapped in a weathered cloak, spoke of distant lands with such vivid clarity that Harold felt as though he could see them. "The walls that contain you," the traveler said, "are made of nothing but thought, as insubstantial as morning mist." Through the quantum lens of reality, your perceived limitations exist as energetic constructs, maintained by the power of collective belief. Since birth, you have been initiated into a mass hypnosis, a shared dream of boundaries and restrictions that has no foundation in the infinite field of possibility. These artificial barriers arise from the stories passed down through generations, crystallizing into what appear to be solid walls, but are merely shadows cast by thought. In the quantum realm, no such boundaries exist. The universe knows no limits, no impossibilities, no closed doors. In the quieter corners of Manhattan, Vivian Reynolds discovered something extraordinary about her paintings. What began as simple doorways on canvas became portals that shimmed with possibility. Those who stood before her art reported feeling drawn through the painted surface into new dimensions of experience, emerging transformed. Without realizing it, Vivian had tapped into the fundamental truth. That consciousness itself is the ultimate artist, painting doorways between realities. To break free from the collective trance, you must first recognize these limitations as illusions projected by the mind. Like a cinema projector casting images on a screen, your consciousness projects these barriers into what appears to be solid reality. But just as a projected image vanishes when the projector is switched off, these limitations dissolve when you withdraw your belief in them. The Quantum Deprogramming Ritual. As twilight approaches, sit in silence and identify one limitation that has held you bound. Trace this belief to its origin, the moment it first took root in your consciousness. Visualize this limiting belief as a dark crystal in your energy field. Now, call forth a stream of golden quantum light from above. Let it flow through your crown chakra, growing in intensity until it surrounds the crystal. Watch as the golden light dissolves the crystal's structure, transforming it into pure potential. In this space of infinite possibility, plant a new seed, a quantum program of unlimited potential. Feel it taking root in your energy field, growing stronger with each breath. Chapter 6. The Quantum Leap of Faith. Franklin Morris spent his days surrounded by equations that spilled from blackboards onto scattered papers across his study floor. Each morning, he meticulously calculated probabilities for every decision, from which route to take to work to what words might yield the best response in conversation. His obsession with mathematical certainty had turned his life into an endless series of computations. One night, he dreamed of standing in an infinite library where books contained every possible calculation for every moment of his existence. Yet as he reached for them, they transformed into butterflies that danced beyond his grasp. A voice echoed, "The universe's greatest mysteries lie beyond the reach of numbers." When you attempt to calculate every variable in the quantum field, you impose artificial limits on infinite possibility. The rational mind, powerful as it may be, can only process a fraction of what the universe holds in store. It is like trying to capture the ocean in a thimble. The very act of measurement reduces the boundless to the bounded. The most extraordinary manifestations occur precisely when you release your grip on what seems logically possible. In that space beyond reason, where the rational mind falls silent, quantum reality reveals its true nature. Here, probability waves collapse not according to calculation, but through the power of pure potential recognizing itself. History's greatest inventors, artists, and visionaries share a common thread. Their breakthroughs emerged not from careful computation, but from intuitive leaps into the unknown. They dared to reach beyond the boundaries of conventional thought into the quantum field where all possibilities exist simultaneously. In the world of aerial artistry, Charlotte Winters discovered this truth high above the circus floor. As a trapeze artist, she had always relied on precise timing and carefully measured distances. Yet her most breathtaking performances came in that suspended moment between letting go of one bar and catching the next, in that space of pure trust where calculations served no purpose. Night after night, suspended in midair, Charlotte entered a state of quantum grace. In that precious instant between release and grasp, she touched something beyond physical laws, a field of pure potential where the impossible became possible. Her story mirrors the quantum truth that your greatest power lies not in clutching what is known, but in surrendering to the infinite possibility that exists in the void. The Quantum Leap Meditation. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Visualize yourself standing at the edge of a great cliff. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet and the vast expanse before you. Identify what you must release: old beliefs, fears, limitations. Take 3 deep breaths, and with each exhale, feel these restrictions dissolving. Now, while repeating the phrase, "In infinite possibility I trust," step forward into the void. Feel the exhilaration as unseen forces support your journey. Let the sensation of being held by the quantum field fill your entire being as you soar toward your new reality. Chapter 7. The Mirror Dimension. In the twilight hours of his small general store, Clarence Whitman noticed something peculiar about his merchandise. When Mrs. Peterson entered, distraught over her husband's illness, the medicinal herbs seemed to glow with unusual vitality, drawing her attention instantly. Yet the same herbs appeared dull and lifeless when Mr. Thompson, who doubted natural remedies, walked past them moments later. As weeks passed, Clarence observed this phenomenon with increasing fascination. The candies sparkled more brightly for joyful children, while appearing muted to those burdened by worry. Fresh produce looked more vibrant to customers filled with health and vitality, yet seemed wilted to those who approached with doubt or despair. Your external world operates as an exquisite mirror, reflecting with perfect precision the quantum vibrations emanating from within. Every object, circumstance, and experience you encounter exists in a state of infinite potential until your consciousness interacts with it. Through this interaction, possibility collapses into specific manifestation, shaped by the deeper currents of your being. What you see in the world is not merely what exists, but what your quantum state allows you to perceive. Your conscious thoughts form only the surface of this mirror. Beneath lie the more powerful forces of your subconscious beliefs, expectations, and emotional patterns. These deeper vibrations act as invisible hands, molding the quantum field into physical reality. In a quiet neighborhood across town, Edith Marshall inherited an unusual Victorian mansion from her eccentric aunt. The house contained dozens of mirrors, but these were unlike any she had encountered before. Instead of showing her physical appearance, they revealed the true state of her inner being. When doubt clouded her heart, she saw storm clouds swirling in the glass. When peace filled her soul, the mirrors reflected serene gardens bathed in golden light. At first, Edith avoided the mirrors, unsettled by their unflinching honesty. But gradually, she understood their gift. They showed her that to change her outer world, she must first transform what existed within. As she learned to cultivate inner harmony, the reflections shifted, and with them her entire reality began to transform. The quantum mirror reflection. Each morning, stand before a mirror in a quiet space. Gaze deeply into your own eyes, breathing slowly and steadily. Allow your vision to soften until you perceive the subtle energy field surrounding your physical form. This luminous field contains the blueprint of your manifestations. As you continue breathing, consciously adjust this field's vibration by visualizing it filled with the essence of what you wish to create. While maintaining this vision, speak your quantum affirmation, as within, so without. The universe mirrors my inner state with perfect precision. Chapter 8: Time as an Illusion. In his dimly lit workshop in Vienna, Theodor Meyer noticed something peculiar about time itself. His brass pocket watches, each crafted with meticulous precision, began behaving in ways that defied explanation. When he focused intensely on a particular timepiece, its hands would move with unusual fluidity, sometimes racing forward, other times nearly standing still. The quantum field responds to consciousness in ways that transcend ordinary understanding of time and space. Just as Theodore discovered through his watchmaking, your perception shapes the very flow of time around you. What appears as a fixed linear progression is actually a fluid medium, responsive to the focus of your awareness. Time exists as an eternal present moment, with past and future accessible through the portal of your consciousness. When you understand this truth, you gain the power to reach across what seems to be vast temporal distances, healing events that appear to lie in the past or calling forth circumstances that seem to await in the future. Consider Harriet Wells, who discovered an ancient leather-bound journal in her grandmother's study. Upon writing in its pages about events yet to come, she watched in amazement as these very circumstances materialized in her life. More remarkably, when she rewrote entries about past events, her memories shifted and her present circumstances rearranged themselves to align with the new narrative. Through her experiences with the journal, Harriet glimpsed a fundamental truth. Time is not a rigid line but a malleable field. The past you remember and the future you anticipate exist as quantum possibilities, responsive to your present moment awareness. By shifting your consciousness in specific ways, you can select which possibilities manifest into experience. The quantum timeline navigation practice reveals this power that lies dormant within you. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Envision your timeline as a path of light extending infinitely before and behind you. Now, imagine stepping to the side of this timeline, ascending to a higher vantage point from which you can observe its entire length simultaneously. From this elevated perspective, identify points along your timeline that call for healing or transformation. Direct streams of golden quantum light into these moments, watching as the energy ripples forward through time, restructuring events and circumstances. Feel how each adjustment creates waves of change that flow into your present moment, transforming both memory and possibility. As you practice this navigation of the quantum timeline, you'll discover that past, present, and future are not fixed points, but fluid expressions of consciousness, waiting to be reshaped by your awakened awareness. Chapter 9, The Law of Resonance. In a modest radio station at the edge of a small New England town, Samuel Wright made an extraordinary discovery. While adjusting the broadcast frequencies late one evening, he noticed a peculiar correlation between his transmissions and events unfolding in the community. When he played uplifting music or spoke with genuine enthusiasm, local businesses reported sudden surges in customers. Conversely, during moments of technical frustration when the equipment emitted discordant sounds, minor accidents and disruptions occurred throughout the town. The universe operates through precise vibrational matching. Your energy field broadcasts a continuous signal that the quantum realm receives and reflects back with perfect accuracy. Like Samuel's radio transmissions, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs emit specific frequencies that attract corresponding experiences into your reality. This quantum principle of resonant attraction operates with unwavering precision. You become a living magnet, drawing to yourself people, opportunities, and circumstances that vibrate in harmony with your dominant energy signature. When you maintain an elevated frequency of joy, gratitude, and expectation of good, you naturally attract experiences that match these qualities. Victoria Matthews encountered this truth through an unusual inheritance, a crystalline instrument unlike anything she had ever seen. As she played different notes, objects in her home began to move and rearrange themselves. Harmonious melodies caused items to flow into beautiful, orderly patterns. Discordant sounds created chaos and disarray. Through this mysterious instrument, Victoria learned that her own energetic output shaped the world around her with the same precise responsiveness. Just as Victoria's music orchestrated her environment, your energy field conducts the symphony of your life experience. Every thought, feeling, and belief sends ripples through the quantum field, attracting circumstances that resonate at the same frequency. The universe has no choice but to respond in kind. It is simply reflecting back your own energetic broadcast. To harness this power consciously, practice the quantum resonance calibration each evening. Sit quietly and place your left hand over your heart center while extending your right hand outward, palm facing up. Feel the current vibrational quality of your energy field. Notice whether it resonates with what you wish to attract. Now, visualize your field filled with the color that represents your desired state, perhaps golden light for abundance or rose light for love. Begin toning a note that feels aligned with this frequency, allowing it to adjust your vibration. Hold this resonance for 12 complete breath cycles, feeling your quantum field stabilize at this new frequency. The universe will respond by orchestrating circumstances that match this carefully calibrated energetic signature. Chapter 10. The Secret Chamber of Visualization. In a small town in Massachusetts, Agnes Williams sat at her wooden sewing table each morning before dawn. In those quiet moments, she developed an extraordinary practice. Before touching needle to thread, she would close her eyes and see the finished garment in exquisite detail within her mind, every stitch, every fold, every subtle nuance of its form. As word spread through the town, people began noticing that clothes made with her special attention seemed to carry an inexplicable power, bringing prosperity, love, or healing to those who wore them. Within the silent depths of your consciousness exists a sacred chamber of creation, a space where thought transforms into quantum instruction. This inner sanctum operates as a divine workshop where your visualizations become templates for physical manifestation. Yet this power remains dormant in most, for they fail to grasp the essential elements that transform mere daydreaming into quantum creation. True visualization requires more than passive imagery. It demands engagement of your entire being. When you enter this state of focused consciousness, you access the quantum field where all possibility exists simultaneously. Here, your thoughts carry the seeds of physical creation, provided they contain sufficient detail, emotional resonance, and energetic coherence. William Barrett, an architect in London, stumbled upon this truth through his own practice. He noticed a striking pattern. Designs conceived during his morning meditation manifested with remarkable ease, permits granted swiftly, resources appearing at precisely the right moment, construction proceeding without delay. Yet projects he designed from his ordinary state of consciousness seemed to attract endless complications. Through this contrast, he discovered that the state of consciousness from which visualization emerges determines its power to influence physical reality. The quantum visualization chamber offers you direct access to this creative power. Begin by sitting in perfect stillness, eyes closed, breath steady. Imagine descending a spiral staircase of golden light, each step taking you deeper into your inner sanctuary. At the bottom, find a door marked with your personal symbol. Enter to discover your sacred chamber, designed with elements that resonate with your soul. Perhaps crystal walls that amplify energy, or a ceiling open to the cosmos. In this space, create a floating sphere of light before you. As you breathe deeply, project your desire into this sphere, building it detail by detail. See it, hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it. Engage all senses while maintaining unwavering heart-mind coherence. Hold this vision with steady focus for 12 breaths, feeling the quantum field absorbing and encoding your creation. This chamber becomes your personal manifestation sanctuary, where thought transforms into quantum blueprint and blueprint into physical reality. Part 2. Deepening your quantum understanding. Chapter 11. The Quantum Breath. Deep within the coal mines of Pennsylvania, Edmund O'Malley wiped soot from his brow, remembering the strange wisdom that had saved his life. Old Thomas, a veteran miner nearing retirement, had pulled him aside one day, teaching him an unusual way of breathing that seemed nonsensical at first. In through the nose for 4 counts, hold for 4, then out through the mouth for 8, Thomas had instructed. It's not just for the coal dust, lad. Edmund practiced faithfully and within weeks noticed something extraordinary. His intuition sharpened dramatically. 3 times he felt an inexplicable urge to step back, moments before cave-ins that would have claimed his life. While others attributed his survival to luck, Edmund knew the truth. His breath had somehow altered the fabric of reality itself. The breath holds power beyond ordinary understanding. It serves as the most direct bridge between the physical world and the quantum realm. Every spiritual tradition throughout history has recognized breath as sacred. The Hindus call it prana, the Chinese ki, the Hebrews ruach. These weren't merely poetic terms, but acknowledgments of breath's power to alter the very substance of reality. When you breathe with conscious awareness, you engage the quantum field directly. Each inhalation draws in not just air, but vital force from the infinite ocean of possibility. Each exhalation releases not just carbon dioxide, but old patterns that no longer serve your highest good. In the hills of Vermont, Mabel Whitman discovered this truth through her work as a midwife. What began as simple breathing exercises to ease labor pain evolved into something far more remarkable. During particularly difficult births, Mabel guided mothers through specific breathing patterns that seemed to create protective fields of energy around both mother and child. Complications would mysteriously resolve. Dangerous situations would suddenly stabilize, and babies would shift into optimal positions against all odds. Through years of observation, Mabel noticed these effects were most pronounced with a specific rhythm. 7 counts in, 1 count hold, 7 counts out. This pattern, she discovered, created what she called pockets of grace, where the normal rules of reality became more flexible, more responsive to intention and prayer. The quantum breath activation. Begin with the clearing breath. Inhalate for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 8. Repeat this pattern 7 times to purify your energy field. Next, transition to the channel opening breath. 7 counts in, 1 count hold, 7 counts out. Practice this for 12 cycles, feeling the barriers between dimensions growing thin. Finally, enter the manifestation breath. Inhale for 9 counts. While visualizing golden particles of light entering your body, hold for 4 counts as this light saturates your cells. Then exhale for 4 counts, knowing you have become a quantum conductor of creative force. Chapter 12. The Vibration of Prosperity. In the harsh winter of 1931, Hamilton Pierce sat in his office at First National Bank, studying a peculiar pattern he'd noticed among his clients. While most accounts dwindled during those lean years, a select few seemed to flourish against all odds. These prosperous individuals shared no obvious advantages. They came from varied backgrounds and circumstances, yet something invisible connected them. After months of careful observation, Hamilton uncovered their secret. These clients maintained an unusual relationship with money, not merely positive thinking, but a distinct energetic signature that seemed to attract wealth naturally. They spoke of abundance as though it were already present, moved through life as though prosperity were inevitable, and most curiously, remained completely unaffected by the panic and scarcity consciousness gripping the nation. Within the quantum field, prosperity exists as a precise vibrational pattern. Just as a radio must be tuned to the exact frequency to receive a clear signal, your consciousness must align with the true prosperity frequency to manifest authentic abundance. Most people unknowingly broadcast mixed signals, affirming abundance with their words, while emanating scarcity with their energy. This truth became startlingly clear through the story of Ruby Bennett. When her husband passed, leaving her nothing but an overgrown plot of rocky soil, neighbors whispered it was worthless land that had never yielded a successful crop. But Ruby saw only potential. Each morning she walked the property, feeling the richness beneath her feet. While others spoke of drought and hardship, she spoke of growth and abundance. Within 2 years, her farm flourished while surrounding properties withered. The soil itself seemed to respond to her unwavering prosperity consciousness, producing harvests that defied explanation. When asked her secret, Ruby simply said, "I never saw anything but abundance here." The Quantum Prosperity Attunement. Each morning before sunrise, hold a coin or bill in your dominant hand. Place your other hand over your heart. Feel energy beginning to circulate between these 2 points. As this circuit strengthens, repeat the ancient prosperity mantra, "I am one with the infinite abundance of the universe." Visualize a radiant golden light like the first rays of dawn, beginning to glow from your heart center. With each conscious inhalation, watch this divine luminescence expand outward, flowing like honey through your veins, saturating every cell of your being. As you exhale, the light grows even more intense, pushing past the boundaries of your physical form to create a shimmering aura that extends several feet in all directions, pulsing with the ancient rhythm of abundance itself. Maintain this expanded field of golden energy for 12 deliberate, mindful breaths. Feel how this sacred light acts as a cosmic beacon, drawing prosperity toward you like moths to a flame. Notice how opportunities, resources, and divine synchronicities are magnetically attracted to your strengthened energy field, drawn by your heightened vibration. This sacred practice, passed down through generations of prosperity masters, attunes your personal energy signature to the exact quantum frequency where true abundance naturally flows, allowing you to become a living conduit for the universe's infinite prosperity. Chapter 13. The Power of Quantum Asking. In the gaslit streets of Victorian London, Percival Whitmore's life changed forever when he discovered an ancient leather-bound tome hidden behind the accounting ledgers of Morton & Sons Trading Company. The book, its pages brittle with age, contained what appeared to be precise formulas, not mathematical equations, but intricate patterns of words that, when properly employed, seemed to bend reality itself. At first, Percival approached these teachings with the same methodical attention he brought to his bookkeeping. He noticed that when he phrased his intentions using the book's prescribed patterns, the universe responded with startling precision. A request for increased means of support yielded nothing, while the same desire expressed as, "I now gratefully receive abundant provision through channels known and unknown," manifested within days as an unexpected inheritance. The quantum field operates through exact frequencies, much like a cosmic telephone exchange. Every thought and word carries its own vibrational signature. When you align your requests with the natural language of the universe, manifestation occurs with effortless grace. Most humans transmit garbled signals, mixing doubt with desire, past with present, limitation with possibility. The key lies not in the words alone, but in the energetic signature they carry. Each syllable must resonate with the frequency of fulfillment. Each phrase must echo with the certainty of completion. The universe responds not to what you say, but to the quantum vibration your words create. This truth found perfect expression in the tale of Dorothea Blackwood, who inherited a curious set of herbs from her grandmother. Following ancient instructions, she crafted an ink from these sacred plants, discovering that letters written with this mixture had an uncanny way of materializing their contents. A letter describing a garden in full bloom would result in her withered plants suddenly flourishing. One expressing gratitude for a specific sum of money would lead to that exact amount appearing through unexpected means. Through trial and error, Dorothea learned that the herb-infused ink merely amplified what was already true, that words carried on the proper frequency, imbued with the correct energy, could directly interface with the quantum field of infinite possibility. The Quantum Request Formulation. Find a quiet space at dawn or dusk. Sitting with spine straight, begin counting backward from 100, allowing each number to carry you deeper into theta state consciousness. When you reach 1, Take out a sheet of paper and your writing implement. Using your non-dominant hand, write your request following this 7-part template. By divine right and perfect timing, I now gratefully receive state desire in present tense through harmonious means for the highest good of all. This or something better manifests now in perfect ways. I release this request to the quantum field knowing it is already fulfilled. And so it is. Maintain an unwavering feeling of already having received your desire as you write. Fold the paper 3 times toward your heart and release all attachment to the outcome. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14, Clearing the Quantum Slate. In the oak-paneled chambers of the county courthouse, Judge Nathaniel Blackwood maintained an air of stern authority as he presided over his cases. Yet beneath his composed exterior, a profound unease had begun to grow. He noticed an uncanny pattern. Whenever he passed harsh judgment without mercy, similar circumstances would manifest in his own life, as if the universe were reflecting his decisions back to him. The truth revealed itself one autumn morning when, after showing compassion to a young offender, Nathaniel found himself the recipient of unexpected grace in a personal matter. Through careful observation, he discovered that each judgment he pronounced created an energetic template in the quantum field, one that shaped not only the defendant's future, but his own. The quantum field holds every thought, word, and deed you've ever experienced, like an infinite library of energetic records. These records continue broadcasting their patterns into your life until consciously transformed. Your attempts to manifest new circumstances often falter because these old programs run silently in the background, creating interference patterns that neutralize your conscious intentions. Think of your quantum field as a garden. No matter how many beautiful seeds you plant, if the soil contains hidden weeds, they will continue sprouting alongside your intended harvest. True manifestation power comes only after clearing these deep-rooted patterns. This wisdom found perfect expression through Florence Winters, who inherited her aunt's Victorian mansion in the spring of 1915. Upon moving in, she discovered that leaving the previous owner's belongings in place created strange echoes in her own life. She began experiencing her aunt's financial struggles, health concerns, and relationship patterns until she learned the art of energetic clearing. The objects themselves held no power, but they anchored old quantum patterns that continued resonating until consciously dissolved. Through a careful process of clearing both the physical space and its energetic imprints, Florence freed herself from inherited patterns and created space for her own intentions to manifest clearly. The quantum field purification. As the moon wanes, sit in contemplative silence. Identify one persistent pattern you wish to transform. Trace its origins in your timeline, acknowledging its lessons with gratitude. Form your hands into Vajra Mudra, index fingers extended while other fingers interlace, thumbs touching. Visualize the pattern as dark smoke within your body. Intone the sound VAM on a single breath while seeing the smoke rise and dissolve. Repeat until you feel energetic lightness. Then speak this affirmation. I now exist in a clear quantum field, free from all past patterns. My manifestations arise from pure potential, unobstructed by old programs. And so it is. Chapter 15. When the quantum field seems silent. In the quiet hours before dawn, Emmett sat at his telegraph station, fingers hovering over the brass key as he had done every morning for months. The silence from his beloved Sarah stretched like an endless void, each day without word from her, testing the boundaries of his heart. Yet he maintained his post, listening intently through the static and silence, trusting that somewhere beyond his understanding, love was working its mysterious course. What Emmett could not know was that Sarah had embarked on a perilous journey across war-torn territories, navigating through checkpoints and battle lines, arranging safe passages and creating new identities, all to forge a path to him. When she finally appeared at his door, their reunion revealed a truth far more magnificent than any message could have conveyed. The universe operates in similar patterns of sacred silence. When your deepest desires seem to vanish into a void of apparent inaction, profound forces are orchestrating circumstances beyond your current perception. This silence is not empty. It pulses with potential, pregnant with possibilities that exceed your limited imagination. You must understand that manifestation follows divine timing, not human schedules. The quantum field operates with perfect precision, orchestrating countless variables into perfect alignment before bringing your desire into physical form. What appears as delay is actually meticulous preparation. Consider Josephine, whose faith was tested daily as she tended her seemingly lifeless orchard. For 7 years she watered bare earth and pruned branches that showed no signs of life. Others called her foolish, urged her to replant with faster-growing varieties. But Josephine understood a deeper truth, that the mightiest oaks require the longest gestation. When her trees finally burst into bloom, producing fruit of extraordinary quality and abundance, Josephine's orchard became living testimony to the power of sustained faith. Her story teaches that patience is not passive waiting but active participation in the cosmic process of creation. The quantum patience cultivation. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Allow your breath to slow until you discover the infinite void between thoughts, the sacred pause where all potential resides. In this space, visualize your desire as a seed already planted in fertile soil. Feel the absolute certainty of its growth while releasing all attachment to when or how it will manifest. For 12 breaths, nourish this seed with your unwavering faith, surrendering all timing to the infinite wisdom of the quantum field. End by placing your hand over your heart and whispering, "In perfect time, through perfect means, my good comes to me." Chapter 16, Quantum Relationships. In a modest apartment above their bookshop in the 1930s Boston, Lucille and George Matthews discovered an unusual manuscript hidden within the binding of an ancient text. Written in faded ink on delicate parchment, it contained teachings about the invisible threads that connect all beings, what modern science would later call quantum entanglement. Following the manuscript's instructions, they began a daily practice of sitting together in silence, visualizing their connection as a bridge of light. Within weeks, they noticed subtle shifts. Arguments that once spiraled into days of tension now dissolved naturally. They found themselves completing each other's thoughts, anticipating each other's needs. Most remarkably, their newfound harmony seemed to ripple outward, touching everyone who entered their shop. The quantum field that surrounds you constantly interacts with the fields of others, creating intricate patterns of energy that influence every aspect of your relationships. These connections operate on specific frequencies, much like radio waves, and can be consciously tuned to create harmony or discord. When you understand this principle, you realize that trying to change relationships through external actions alone is like attempting to adjust a radio's reception by manipulating the sound waves in the air. True transformation occurs at the quantum level, where the broadcast itself originates. Henry Wilson, a dedicated schoolteacher in Vermont, inherited an unusual pocket watch from his uncle. At first he thought it was simply unreliable, sometimes racing ahead, other times barely moving. But he began to notice a pattern. The watch's behavior changed depending on who was nearby. In the presence of his most challenging student, it would nearly stop. Near his most inspiring colleague, it ran swift and true. Over time, Henry realized the watch was revealing the quality of his quantum connections. When he felt drained or uplifted by someone's presence, the watch reflected this energetic exchange. Through this mysterious timepiece, he learned to recognize and adjust the invisible bonds that shaped his daily experience. The quantum relationship harmonization begins with finding a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and visualize yourself surrounded by a sphere of golden light. See luminous cords extending from your heart to each significant person in your life. Notice their quality. Some may glow bright and strong. Others may appear dim or twisted. Focus on each connection individually. Where you find tangles, breathe deeply and imagine the light growing brighter, gently smoothing the distortions. For frayed cords, direct healing energy through your breath, watching them strengthen and repair. If you encounter darkened or toxic connections, envision them dissolving with love and gratitude for their lessons. Complete the practice by setting clear intentions for each relationship, seeing these desires rippling outward through the golden cords into the quantum field. Chapter 17. Healing Through Quantum Consciousness. In the quiet of her Boston sewing room in 1892, Ruth Anderson made a discovery that would transform her understanding of the body's hidden potential. As her needle slipped, drawing a bright bead of blood from her finger, she paused rather than reaching for her usual remedy. Something stirred in her consciousness, an ancient knowing that whispered of the body's true nature. Closing her eyes, Ruth directed her full attention into the tiny wound. She imagined streams of golden light flowing through her bloodstream, carrying healing intelligence to the injured site. To her amazement, the bleeding stopped almost instantly. Over the next hours, she watched as the wound healed at an unprecedented rate, leaving no trace by nightfall. Your body exists as an intricate web of quantum information, constantly responding to the silent commands of your consciousness. Every cell contains the intelligence of the entire universe, waiting to be activated by your focused awareness. Modern medicine, with its mechanical view of the body, has barely glimpsed the vast healing potential that lies dormant within you. When you understand that illness begins as a distortion in your quantum field before manifesting physically, you gain access to the most powerful healing technology in existence, your own consciousness. Every thought, every belief, every expectation you hold creates ripples through this field, instructing your cells how to behave. Dr. Victor Thorne's revelation came after 20 years of traditional medical practice. In treating identical conditions, he observed striking patterns. Two patients with the same diagnosis, receiving identical treatment, would experience dramatically different outcomes based solely on their inner stance toward healing. Those who deeply believed in their recovery often experienced what his colleagues dismissed as spontaneous remission, while skeptics struggled despite the most advanced interventions. Through careful observation, Dr. Thorne developed a revolutionary approach. Before prescribing any physical treatment, he worked with patients to shift their quantum field, teaching them to visualize perfect health, to feel it in every cell, to know it as their natural state. The results defied conventional medical explanation. The quantum healing transmission. Find a quiet space and enter a meditative state through slow, rhythmic breathing. 4 counts in, 4 counts hold, 4 counts out. Continue until you feel a subtle vibration in your hands. Visualize healing light collecting in your palms until they pulse with energy. Direct this quantum information to any area needing restoration while mentally commanding, return to your perfect pattern. Cycle through 3 colors, golden light for cellular regeneration, emerald green for balance, and violet for deep transformation. Maintain this focus for 12 minutes while feeling the cells awakening to their original blueprint. Chapter 18. The Quantum State of Gratitude. In a sunlit attic in Vermont, 1853, Eliza Morton discovered an old leather-bound journal among her grandmother's belongings. As she turned its weathered pages, she found not mere diary entries, but daily expressions of thanksgiving, some for things that hadn't yet come to pass. Intrigued, Eliza began her own practice of gratitude, penning thanks each morning for experiences and blessings still unseen. Within weeks, she witnessed an extraordinary phenomenon. The very thing she had expressed gratitude for, a visit from a long-lost friend, an unexpected financial windfall, even a rare book she'd longed to read, materialized in her life with startling precision. It was as if her thankfulness had opened an invisible door through which these experiences could enter. When you express genuine gratitude for something not yet manifested, you create a quantum resonance that transcends time itself. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful affirmation. It is the activation of a universal law as reliable as gravity. Your heartfelt thanks generates a specific vibrational signature that the universe must answer, for gratitude and fulfillment are eternally linked in the quantum field. The merchant Abraham Cohen discovered this truth in his own way. Each morning before opening his shop in the marketplace, he would stand quietly behind his counter, eyes closed, expressing sincere thanks for the customers he would serve that day. He gave gratitude for specific transactions, for particular items being sold, for the exact amount of coins that would fill his register. Without fail, as the sun set each evening, he found that reality had matched his morning thanksgiving with remarkable accuracy. Through Abraham's experience, we glimpse the profound mechanism at work. Preemptive gratitude creates an energetic template, a quantum mold into which physical reality must pour itself. When you thank the universe for something before its arrival, you establish a vibrational pattern that draws that very experience into manifestation. The Quantum Gratitude Acceleration. Find a quiet space each morning and evening. Place both hands over your heart center and close your eyes. Allow genuine feelings of appreciation to well up within you. Then, with deep feeling, speak aloud 7 expressions of gratitude for conditions you desire as though they already exist. I am deeply thankful for. As you speak each statement, feel the emotional resonance of already having received this blessing. Visualize golden light expanding from your heart, encompassing these future manifestations and drawing them into your present moment. Hold this state for several minutes, letting the quantum field align with your grateful heart. Chapter 19. Navigating Quantum Resistance. In the bustling port of Bristol, 1774, master shipbuilder Harrison Wells faced what appeared to be the ruin of his greatest ambition. The innovative vessel he had designed, one that promised to revolutionize ocean travel, encountered one setback after another. First, the specially ordered timber arrived warped and unusable. Then, a critical joint design proved unstable in rough waters. Finally, his primary investor withdrew, leaving the project seemingly dead in the water. Yet each apparent disaster concealed a hidden blessing. The warped timber led Harrison to discover a superior wood source with greater durability. The joint failure inspired an entirely new configuration that made the ship more flexible in storms. The loss of funding attracted a more visionary investor who shared Harrison's dream of maritime innovation. When the ship finally launched, it surpassed all expectations, setting new standards for naval architecture. The quantum field often presents resistance not to deny your desires, but to guide you toward greater possibilities than your limited mind had conceived. What appears as an obstacle is frequently a doorway to expanded potential. You must learn to distinguish between genuine quantum redirection and the false resistance born of fear or limiting beliefs. Consider the tale of Madeline Foster, a gifted composer in Vienna, whose magnum opus seemed perpetually stalled by passages she couldn't resolve. Each time her symphony reached a point of apparent failure, she faced a choice: force her original vision or surrender to the natural flow of the music. When she chose surrender, allowing the resistance to guide her, breakthrough invariably followed. Sections that had felt discordant transformed into the most powerful moments of the piece, carrying it far beyond her initial conception. Your manifestations often arrive through apparent detours because the quantum field perceives possibilities you cannot yet see. When you encounter resistance, consider that the universe may be guiding you towards something greater than you imagined. The key lies in learning to work with this resistance rather than against it. The quantum resistance transmutation offers a pathway through apparent obstacles. Begin by sitting quietly and establishing a rhythmic breath pattern, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 7, exhaling for 8. Once your mind settles into theta frequency, visualize your current obstacle as a doorway filled with swirling golden light. As you approach this doorway, ask aloud, what greater good lies beyond this resistance? What expansion is being offered through this apparent delay? Walk through the doorway while maintaining steady breath, feeling gratitude for the higher purpose being revealed. Complete the practice by speaking the words, I thank the quantum field for guiding me toward possibilities greater than I could have imagined. Chapter 20. The Hidden Quantum Script. In the hushed halls of the Hartford Public Library, 1924, Abigail Montgomery discovered an unmarked leather-bound volume tucked between ancient texts on sacred geometry. Its yellowed pages contained diagrams showing how spoken words created distinct patterns in the invisible fabric of reality. Initially skeptical, she began a careful experiment, consciously selecting her words throughout each day. Within weeks, the shifts in her experience became undeniable. Words that once peppered her speech, difficult, impossible, never, she replaced with phrases aligned to her desires. Where she once said, I hope to, she now declared, I am. The changes manifested swiftly: a long-awaited promotion, unexpected opportunities, even the resolution of a persistent health concern. Language shapes reality at the quantum level. Each word you speak sends ripples through the field of infinite possibility, creating templates that the universe faithfully fills. Your vocabulary is not merely descriptive but prescriptive, programming the quantum field with instructions that manifest as your lived experience. Certain words and phrases create interference patterns that distort or delay manifestation. Terms of doubt, limitation, and unworthiness generate quantum static that blocks the clear transmission of your desires. Conversely, words of certainty, possibility, and deservingness open direct channels through which your intentions can flow into physical form. In the Charleston County Courthouse, Silas Bennett noticed an intriguing pattern while organizing case files. Legal documents with subtly different wordings led to markedly different outcomes, even when their technical meaning remained the same. Contracts expressing terms with clarity and positive intention seemed to manifest smooth execution, while those filled with provisions for failure often encountered precisely the complications they sought to prevent: the quantum speech purification. For 21 days, maintain heightened awareness of your verbal patterns. In a small notebook, record instances of both limiting and empowering speech. Notice words that diminish your power. Try, should, maybe, and consciously replace them with quantum-aligned alternatives. Each evening, assume a seated position and form the Vayu Mudra by touching your index finger to the base of your thumb. Speak aloud this quantum declaration. I am the conscious creator of my reality. My words carry the power of manifestation. Through my chosen language, I align with the infinite field of possibility. Continue this sacred practice with unwavering dedication until your every utterance naturally resonates with your deepest aspirations and grandest vision. Remember that each word crossing your lips carries infinite creative potential. Like seeds of light scattered across the fertile soil of the quantum field, destined to bloom into the garden of your reality. Just as the ancient mystics understood that their incantations held the power to shape worlds, your conscious speech patterns weave the very fabric of your manifest experience, creating ripples of transformation throughout the cosmic ocean of possibility. Part 3. Transcending into Quantum Mastery. Chapter 21. The Quantum Observer Self. High atop the rocky cliffs of Nova Scotia, Willard Matthews kept his nightly vigil in the lighthouse tower. Month after month of solitude gradually dissolved the boundaries of his ordinary awareness. In those long hours between dusk and dawn, he found himself settling into a peculiar state of consciousness, as though stepping back from his own life to watch it unfold from an infinite distance. From this expanded vantage point, he observed his thoughts, emotions, and daily activities as though watching a play. He noticed that when viewing his life circumstances from this detached perspective, situations that once seemed overwhelming became strangely manageable. More remarkably, he discovered that gentle adjustments in his awareness from this higher state created immediate shifts in his physical reality below. Beyond your everyday identity exists a vast, unchanging awareness, your quantum self. This timeless aspect of your being stands outside the limitations of physical existence, orchestrating reality from a dimension of pure potential. While your personal self moves through time and space, subject to the winds of circumstance, your quantum self remains eternally stable, watching and directing from above. Most humans live entirely identified with their limited personal self, the character in the story. Yet true manifestation power emerges only when you shift your center of awareness to the author's perspective. From this elevated vantage point, you gain the ability to edit and rewrite the story of your life with the same ease a writer revises their manuscript. In the 1890s in Boston, Evelyn Pierce discovered an unusual photographic technique. By carefully timing a double exposure, she captured not only her subject's physical forms, but also a luminous energy field surrounding them. These remarkable images helped people recognize their dual nature, both the earthly figure and the radiant quantum presence encompassing it. Those who studied their photos often reported spontaneous shifts in awareness, suddenly perceiving themselves as vast fields of consciousness rather than limited physical beings. The Quantum Observer Elevation. Find a quiet space where you can sit undisturbed. Close your eyes and begin by observing your physical body, acknowledging it, while gradually detaching from identification with it. Next, watch your emotions arise and pass like clouds, recognizing that you are the sky containing them, not the weather itself. Then observe your thoughts, stepping back until you find the silent witness behind them. From this space of pure awareness, gently survey your life circumstances as though viewing them from a great height. Notice how your challenges appear different from this expanded perspective. When ready, issue soft quantum commands from this elevated state, knowing that reality must reshape itself to match the instructions given from this higher dimension of consciousness. Practice maintaining this witness perspective even as you return to daily activities, remembering that you are both the character in the story and the infinite awareness reading it. Chapter 22, The Quantum Shift Ritual. In the winter of 1790, Morris Blackwood's steady hands paused over the delicate gears of a pocket watch as candlelight caught the edge of an aged manuscript that had slipped from between the pages of his repair ledger. The yellowed pages contained instructions for what it called the Great Shifting, a precise ritual practiced by an ancient order who understood the malleable nature of reality. Following the manuscript's detailed guidance, Morris rose before dawn the next morning, performing the prescribed sequence of movements, breaths, and declarations in perfect solitude. Within days, his modest watchmaking shop transformed into the most sought-after establishment in London, with nobility arriving in carriages bearing timepieces for repair. His neighbors whispered of dark arts, unable to explain his sudden rise to prominence. The secret of the quantum shift lies not in gradual manifestation, but in the complete suspension of ordinary physical laws. When performed with exact precision, this ancient practice creates a temporary void in the fabric of reality, a sacred pause between what was and what will be. Within this void, the entire blueprint of your existence can be rewritten in an instant. The ritual must be performed in absolute secrecy for a crucial reason. The presence of any observer collapses the quantum field back into fixed patterns, preventing the complete dissolution of existing structures necessary for instant transformation. Even a slight deviation from the prescribed sequence can cause the energy to disperse without effect. In 1705, on her deathbed, Margaret Whitmore passed down this closely guarded knowledge to her granddaughter Isabella. A struggling seamstress barely earning enough to survive, Isabella followed the ritual's instructions to the letter. Within a fortnight, her circumstances changed so dramatically, from near destitution to receiving commissions from London's finest families, that she relocated to Bath, where none knew of her former station. The sacred quantum shift ritual. In the hour before dawn, enter a completely private space. Begin with 7 clockwise circles of your right hand over your heart while inhaling for 7 counts. Extend both arms outward, palms facing up, and visualize golden light dissolving your current reality pattern. Draw your hands slowly inward while speaking the ancient phrase that opens the quantum void. Perform the sacred mudra sequence, index fingers touching thumbs, then middle fingers, continuing through all digits in precise order. With each connection, visualize a different aspect of your desired reality, crystallizing in the void. Maintain steady breath throughout. Stand with feet precisely shoulder-width apart, arms raised at 45-degree angles. Speaking in clear, unwavering tones, declare your quantum command exactly 7 times, investing each repetition with absolute certainty of its immediate manifestation. Complete the ritual by bringing your palms together at heart level and bowing in gratitude to the infinite intelligence that orchestrates all transformation. Chapter 23, The Quantum Art of Surrender. The river churned violently beneath Leonard Mitchell's vessel that stormy night in 1853. As waves crashed over the bow and lightning split the sky, his white-knuckled grip on the wheel only seemed to worsen their predicament. Each forceful turn against the current drove them closer to disaster. In that moment of absolute crisis, An ancient wisdom surfaced in Leonard's consciousness. Releasing his death grip on the wheel, he allowed the river's flow to guide their path. To his crew's astonishment, the boat found its way to calm waters, threading through dangerous rapids as though guided by an invisible hand. When you grasp too tightly at the reins of creation, you constrict the very force that seeks to aid you. The quantum field responds not to the force of your will, but to the openness of your being. This represents one of the deepest mysteries of manifestation, that your greatest power emerges precisely when you surrender the need to control. Yet this surrender differs entirely from passive resignation. It is an active state of allowing, maintaining clear intention, while releasing attachment to the specific form your manifestation must take. Like a leaf carried by a stream, you move with purpose while remaining flexible about the path. This truth revealed itself profoundly to Constance Ward in her sun-filled studio in 1875. For a decade, she had fought to create her masterpiece, each calculated brushstroke falling short of her vision. Her breakthrough came only when she stopped forcing the process and allowed herself to become a vessel for something greater. One autumn morning, Constance entered her studio without a plan. Setting aside her usual preliminary sketches, she simply opened herself to the flow of creative energy. In that state of surrender, colors and forms emerged through her with an ease she had never known. The resulting painting, completed in a single session, carried such power that viewers often stood before it in tears, though they could not explain why. Your manifestations reach their highest expression when you recognize yourself not as their source, but as the channel through which universal power flows. Like Constance with her brush, you achieve mastery not by imposing your will, but by becoming a clear vessel for quantum creation. Through the quantum surrender process, you enter this state of active allowing. Find a quiet space and settle into a comfortable position. Identify something you have been struggling to control or manifest. Begin a slow, rhythmic breath pattern, inhaling for 4 counts, holding for 7, exhaling for 8. This creates the specific brainwave state where surrender becomes possible. As your mind quiets, visualize yourself standing in a gentle stream. Feel the water flowing around and through you. With each exhale, release one aspect of control over your desired outcome. Maintain your clear intention while surrendering all attachment to how it must manifest. Allow yourself to become the hollow reed through which the quantum field expresses its infinite wisdom. Chapter 24. Collapsing Parallel Realities. In the autumn of 1921, mathematician Albert Whitman stood before his chalkboard at Cambridge University when reality began to shimmer. For a brief moment, he saw himself not as a professor, but as a ship's captain charting courses across distant seas. The vision, though fleeting, felt as real as the chalk dust on his fingers. These episodes continued, each one showing him a different version of his life, some where he had made other choices, others where circumstances had unfolded differently. Through careful observation and documentation, Albert discovered that these weren't mere daydreams, but glimpses into parallel timelines existing simultaneously with his own. The quantum field holds infinite versions of your life, each one as real as the reality you currently inhabit. Every choice, every possibility, exists in a state of superposition until your consciousness collapses it into lived experience. Like waves on an infinite ocean, these parallel realities ripple around you, waiting to be selected through your focused attention. You possess the innate ability to perceive and select from these parallel timelines. Just as light splits into a spectrum through a prism, reality fragments into countless variations around each moment of choice. Your power lies not in creating these possibilities, for they already exist, but in choosing which one to inhabit through deliberate quantum observation. This truth manifested powerfully for Viola Henderson in 1923 when she discovered an unusual crystal prism in her grandmother's attic. Looking through it at sunset, she witnessed multiple versions of her life playing out simultaneously, each one reflecting different choices and circumstances. With practice, she learned to focus her attention on the reality she preferred, drawing it into her experience while allowing the others to fade. The crystal showed Viola that what we call reality is actually a continuous selection process. Your consciousness constantly choosing which version of infinite possibilities to collapse into experience. Like tuning a radio to your preferred station, you can adjust your quantum attention to select and inhabit the reality that best serves your highest good. Through the parallel reality collapse, you gain conscious access to this natural ability. Begin by entering a meditative state where you envision yourself at a crossroads of light. Feel the distinct energetic signatures of different potential realities branching from your current position. Using the sacred breath pattern of 4 counts in, hold for 7, release for 8, focus your attention fully on your chosen reality. Issue the mental command, I now inhabit this timeline. Make the quantum choice physical by crossing your arms over your chest, then opening them wide, anchoring yourself fully in your selected reality. Chapter 25, Quantum Timeline Jumping. In the quiet halls of Oxford University's library in 1934, historian Howard Matthews immersed himself in ancient documents detailing the lives of 17th-century merchants. As he traced his own ancestry through these yellowed pages, something extraordinary began to unfold. The more intensely he focused on specific moments in his family's past, the more he felt himself present in those scenes, not as a mere observer, but as an active consciousness capable of subtle influence. Through sustained practice, Howard discovered he could direct healing energy to traumatic moments in his ancestral timeline, watching in amazement as present circumstances shifted in response. Family patterns that had persisted for generations began to transform, and new possibilities emerged in his current life, as though they had always existed. Your consciousness exists beyond the constraints of linear time. Like a bird soaring above a winding river, you can view your timeline from an elevated perspective, seeing how each bend and tributary creates the flow of your present experience. From this vantage point, you gain the power to select and influence key moments that shape your reality. This truth manifested profoundly for Amelia Blackwood when she inherited her great-grandmother's leather-bound journal in 1935. At first it seemed like an ordinary diary, but soon she noticed something remarkable. When she rewrote entries describing past events, her own memories and present circumstances would shift accordingly, as though the past had always happened differently. Through careful experimentation, Amelia learned that the journal wasn't changing history itself, but rather allowing her consciousness to select and merge with parallel timelines where different choices had been made. Her present reality would smoothly adjust to align with these alternate histories, teaching her that what we call the past is far more fluid than we imagine. The quantum timeline navigation opens this same ability within you. Begin by sitting in perfect stillness, visualizing your timeline as a path of golden light, extending infinitely before and behind you. Allow your consciousness to rise above this timeline until you can observe its full expanse. Notice the points where alternate possibilities branch off like shimmering tributaries. Place your left palm facing upward on your knee while your right hand forms a triangle shape with thumb and forefingers. Breathe deeply in a 4-7-8 pattern as you identify the timeline that calls to your highest good. Feel your energy field beginning to align with this chosen path. When readiness fills you, chant the sacred tone AUM 3 times, while simultaneously lowering your consciousness back onto the chosen timeline. Experience the sensation of every cell in your body adjusting to this new trajectory. Your present reality will begin shifting to align with this chosen path, like water finding its natural course. Chapter 26, The Quantum Doorways of Dreams. In the gaslit streets of Boston, 1903, Sullivan O'Brien discovered something extraordinary in his locksmith shop. Each morning, he diligently recorded his dreams in a leather-bound journal, noting an uncanny pattern emerging. The locks he dreamed of crafting would invariably appear as real commissions within days, sometimes hours, of his nocturnal visions. Through your dream state, you access the quantum field in its purest form. When your conscious mind rests, the veils between possibility and manifestation grow thin. In this sacred space, untethered from physical limitation, your consciousness moves freely through the infinite field of potential. Ancient wisdom keepers understood that dreams are not mere reflections of daily life, but gateways into the quantum realm. By maintaining awareness during dream states, you gain direct access to the creative force that shapes reality. This practice, known to mystics throughout the ages, allows you to plant seeds of manifestation that bloom effortlessly into physical experience. The quantum field responds most readily to consciousness unencumbered by doubt. In dream state, your natural skepticism sleeps while your creative power awakens fully. Here, in this twilight realm between worlds, you can reshape the template of your reality with unprecedented clarity and power. Matilda Whitmore discovered this truth in an unexpected way. At an old curiosity shop in 1907, she found a curious pillow filled with ancient herbs, lavender, mugwort, and others she couldn't identify. Each night as she slept upon it, she found herself transported to a magnificent temple. There, upon a golden altar, she would place symbols of her heart's desires, a key for a new home, a rose for love, a coin for prosperity. To her amazement, these symbolic offerings began manifesting in her waking life with remarkable speed and accuracy. The boundary between dreaming and creating dissolved, revealing that both states were simply different venues for consciousness to shape reality. The quantum dream incubation awaits your practice. As you prepare for sleep, clear your energy field by visualizing a cascade of golden light washing away the day's limiting thoughts. Place objects representing your desires. A key, a flower, a symbol of abundance, where your eyes will rest upon them as you drift into slumber. Speak these words with quiet authority. I enter the quantum field through the gateway of dreams. I plant seeds of manifestation that bloom in perfect time. Allow your consciousness to shift naturally into the dream state, knowing you travel now as a creator in the quantum realm. Chapter 27, Ancestral Quantum Patterns. In the dimly lit study of First National Bank in 1882, Montgomery Blackwood sat transfixed by the leather-bound journals spread before him. 7 generations of his family's history lay exposed, revealing an astonishing pattern. Every third generation experienced sudden financial collapse in their 42nd year, while every second generation achieved unexpected prosperity through unlikely partnerships formed in times of crisis. The quantum field carries within it the imprint of every thought, belief, and experience of those who came before you. Like invisible threads woven through time, these ancestral patterns shape your reality in ways your conscious mind may never recognize. Your very DNA resonates with the quantum signatures of your forebears, carrying forward both their triumphs and their unresolved challenges. When you struggle against persistent obstacles despite your best efforts, when specific patterns of experience repeat despite your conscious choice for something different, you are often witnessing the echo of ancestral quantum programs running in your field. These are not mere psychological inheritances, but energetic templates that actively shape the probability fields around you. In the verdant countryside of 1898, Catherine Wells inherited a sprawling estate known for its fertile soil. Yet despite her expert care, certain areas of the garden remained stubbornly barren. No amount of attention or nurturing could coax life from these patches of earth. After months of frustration, she discovered in the family records a solemn vow taken by her great-grandfather during a time of famine, that no wealth would ever spring from this soil lest others go hungry. The quantum field had faithfully maintained this decree across time until Catherine performed the necessary rituals to release it. The ancestral quantum clearing beckons you to a sacred inner space. Begin by visualizing your family tree extending behind you into infinity, each branch glowing with quantum light. Notice which branches appear dim or tangled, revealing patterns that have persisted through time. For each pattern you identify, place a physical object before you, a stone, a coin, a fragment of paper with written words. Acknowledge each pattern with reverence, understanding it served a purpose in its time. Then, one by one, transmute these patterns through your chosen element, burning the paper, dissolving salt in water, burying the stones in earth. As each object transforms, feel the quantum field releasing its hold on these old programs. Finally, write your decree of freedom, a clear statement releasing yourself and all future generations from these ancestral bindings. Transform this decree through fire or water, while speaking aloud your intention for the new quantum templates you choose to install in your lineage. Chapter 28. The Quantum Council Within. In the winter of 1914, Millicent Thorne lay bedridden with a fever that had confounded her doctors. As her physical strength waned, she began experiencing remarkable encounters in her semi-conscious state. Wise presences gathered around her bed, sharing healing practices unknown to modern medicine and offering insights about her life's path that proved uncannily accurate. Within weeks, she had recovered completely, guided by remedies that seemed to emerge from some deeper well of knowledge within her own being. The quantum field contains dimensions of intelligence far beyond your ordinary awareness. Within the depths of your consciousness exists an inner council of wisdom, aspects of your higher self that perceive from vantage points unrestricted by physical time and space. These quantum aspects of your being stand ready to offer guidance, healing, and profound understanding when approached with proper reverence and discernment. Through specific states of consciousness, you can establish direct communication with these inner guides. This is not imagination or wishful thinking, but rather accessing actual dimensions of your own expanded awareness that exist beyond the limited identity you typically inhabit. Like tuning a radio to receive clear signals, you can learn to adjust your consciousness to receive pristine guidance from these higher aspects of yourself. In 1922, Jonathan Marshall, a circuit court judge renowned for his unusual wisdom, developed a practice of entering deep meditation before ruling on difficult cases. In this state, he would present the case before what he experienced as an inner tribunal of wise counselors. The guidance received through these inner consultations led to verdicts that demonstrated remarkable foresight and compassion, solutions his analytical mind alone could never have conceived. Over time, he came to understand that these apparent others were actually aspects of his own higher consciousness, offering perspectives from beyond the limitations of his personal identity. The Quantum Council convocation begins with creating a sacred inner chamber, a space within your consciousness specifically designed for communion with your highest wisdom. Visualize this chamber taking form around you, noting its architecture, furnishings, and the quality of light that fills it. Allow specific archetypal aspects of consciousness to emerge and take their places as council members, each representing different qualities of wisdom. Learn to pose clear questions to this council, waiting in receptive silence for their response. Establish specific protocols to ensure authentic communication, perhaps a particular sensation or inner knowing that accompanies true guidance. Conclude each session by expressing gratitude for the wisdom received and creating a simple physical gesture, touching thumb to ring finger or placing a hand over your heart, that allows you to quickly reconnect with this council during daily life. Chapter 29. Creating Quantum Synchronicity. In the quiet halls of the Boston Public Library, Winifred Matthews discovered something extraordinary in the autumn of 1943. After beginning her morning meditation practice, inherited from an enigmatic patron who had left behind a curious manuscript, she noticed reality itself seemed to respond to her thoughts with uncanny precision. Books would inexplicably tumble from shelves, opening to passages containing exact answers to questions weighing on her mind. Strangers would appear at her desk, spontaneously sharing information she had contemplated just hours before. When she needed a rare volume for research, it would mysteriously appear returned that very morning. Within the quantum field, there exists no such thing as coincidence. What appears as random synchronicity is actually the precise orchestration of consciousness and circumstance, a reflection of your alignment with the deeper currents of universal intelligence. When you attune yourself to quantum consciousness, meaningful coincidences become your natural mode of navigation through reality. These synchronistic events serve as markers of your vibrational alignment, cosmic confirmations that you are in harmony with the quantum field. By maintaining specific states of awareness, you can deliberately increase both the frequency and significance of these meaningful convergences in your daily experience. In 1947, Wallace Henderson, a traveling salesman for a pharmaceutical company, stumbled upon this truth during his routes through the Midwest. After adopting a particular state of relaxed expectancy, what he called his lucky mood, his formerly grueling sales trips transformed into symphonies of perfect timing. Trains would delay their departure just long enough for him to board. Chance encounters in diners would lead to his largest accounts. Hotels would mysteriously have a single room available during conventions. Without conscious planning, his days unfolded through an intricate choreography of meaningful coincidence. What once required meticulous scheduling now occurred through effortless divine orchestration. The universe itself seemed to conspire to support his journey, arranging circumstances and encounters with exquisite precision. The synchronicity activation begins each morning by setting a clear intention to notice meaningful coincidences throughout your day. Enter a receptive state through 7 deep breaths, each one drawing you deeper into quantum awareness. With your eyes closed, declare aloud, "I am aligned with the perfect orchestration of universal intelligence. My path unfolds through divine synchronicity." Choose a unique symbol, perhaps a butterfly, a specific number, or an unusual color, as your personal synchronicity marker. This symbol will appear as confirmation when you are in alignment with quantum flow. Watch for its appearance, knowing that each sighting signals your harmony with the deeper currents of creation. Chapter 30. The Quantum Rebirth. In a small village in northern England, Bartholomew Green worked his trade as a carpenter, crafting simple furniture for local families. Yet behind the sawdust and wood shavings lay a secret that would transform not just his life, but the very nature of his being. Hidden beneath the floorboards of his workshop, he kept ancient manuscripts, forbidden texts that spoke of humanity's true quantum nature. For 7 years he practiced their mysterious rituals in the pre-dawn hours, his consciousness gradually expanding beyond the confines of physical limitation. Those who knew him began to notice subtle changes, the way fortune seemed to bend around him, how his projects manifested with impossible perfection, the strange luminosity that seemed to emanate from his presence. When the transformation reached its culmination, the humble carpenter emerged as something else entirely, a being of pure creative force who shaped reality through intention alone. The limited identity of Bartholomew Green had dissolved completely, replaced by a conscious extension of universal creativity. This ultimate transformation into your quantum nature cannot be partial. You cannot retain the comfortable limitations of your current identity while stepping into your full creative power. The quantum field responds only to complete surrender, the willing sacrifice of everything you believed yourself to be in exchange for what you truly are, an infinite being of pure creative consciousness. Elizabeth Blackwood's story illuminates this truth with striking clarity. After 30 years of spiritual seeking, she retreated to a remote cottage for 3 days of solitary initiation. What emerged was not an improved version of Elizabeth, but a luminous being who experienced reality as infinitely responsive to consciousness. Her former identity had completely dissolved, allowing her true nature as a quantum creator to emerge without distortion. The quantum rebirth initiation begins at dawn on 3 consecutive mornings. On the first dawn, enter deep meditation facing east. Visualize your limited identity as a cocoon of light surrounding you. Breathe deeply while declaring, "I release all that I have believed myself to be." Watch the cocoon dissolve into pure light. On the second dawn, kneel with your forehead touching the earth. Experience yourself as empty space, a void of pure potential. Declare, "I am the infinite field of all possibility." Remain in this state of emptiness for 108 breaths. On the final dawn, stand with arms raised to the sky. Perform the quantum rebirth breath, inhaling for 7 counts, holding for 7, exhaling for 7. Experience yourself emerging from the cosmic womb of creation, newly born as pure consciousness in human form. Declare 3 times, "I am the creative force of the universe expressing through this form." If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. As you close these pages, recognize that you stand now at the threshold of unlimited creation, forever transformed by the quantum shift that has awakened you to your true nature. What once seemed magical now reveals itself as the inherent operation of universal law, a law you have learned to consciously embody and direct. The secret knowledge you now possess places you among a rare group throughout history who have discovered how to bend reality to conscious will, transcending the matrix of limitation that constrains those still asleep to their quantum nature. Yet with this power comes sacred responsibility, to create from love rather than fear, to manifest for the highest good of all rather than from the demands of ego. As you move forward, applying these ancient yet timeless practices in the laboratory of your daily life, remember that results will appear with startling speed, often more rapidly than your human mind is prepared to accept. When this occurs, Simply return to the practices of quantum breathwork and surrender, allowing your newly expanded awareness to integrate these accelerated manifestations. Though our written journey together concludes, your true journey as a quantum creator has only just begun. The universe awaits your conscious command, resonating with anticipation as you step fully into your role as the author of your reality, reborn through the quantum shift into the infinite potential that has awaited your awakening since the dawn of consciousness. The quantum field listens not to noise but to intention. Right now, in this very breath, reality is responding to the quality of your awareness. So ask yourself gently, what do I now choose to see? Let this be more than a passing moment. Let it be a signal sent into the fabric of existence. In the comments, write a sentence that begins with "I now see." Let it be a declaration, a quiet command, a remembering. Whether it's clarity, truth, or a vision you're claiming, your words are not small. They are threads in the loom of reality, tugging at timelines, reshaping what comes next. Write with intention. Read what others share. Witness how the field begins to move in response. If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.